Welcome to Showtime All the Time, our monthly podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Bickmeyer, the Executive Director of the Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority. And today we're talking football.
No. We're talking soccer.
Football.
Look at that.
Different kind of football. I see that. Jay Howell, the Executive Director of the Richmond Strikers. He looked a little confused when I first said football and held up the football.
No. That's okay.
Right.
I do like football as well.
All right. Well, I just wanted to let you know, soccer is, I don't know a lot about soccer, so I'm here for an education today, so as well as all of our listeners. So probably outside of watching Ted Lasso and Welcome to Wrexham, that's about all I know about soccer.
Those are good starters.
All right,
Very
good.
good starters.
All right, I'm on to something here. No, but in all seriousness, Jay, thank you for being here. Really appreciate everything that you and the Strikers do here in our community. And it's been almost a decade that you've been at the helm of the Strikers. So Jay's a former collegiate player.
Yes.
Is that right?
Played at University of Richmond. Yes.
Nice. Former collegiate coach.
Coached at University of Richmond as well as UNC Chapel Hill and coached at Randolph-Macon College with the women's team.
Got in some high school coaching in there as well.
Coached at Freeman High School as well as coached at Cosby High School.
All right. See, I did a little bit of homework there.
Okay, good.
So,
all right.
But what about your soccer roots from the early days? What got you into soccer? Because that's what's happening in your business, right? You're getting young players and taking them all the way through maybe to like 18U.
Yes. I started soccer like most kids did in the late 70s, I'll say that. My father was in the Marine Corps. We were stationed in Quantico, and he was a part of, I believe he was in the Air War College there when he was there. And at that time, there were a lot of international students as well from the different militaries all over the world. And I was already playing baseball. I was already playing basketball. And one of his friends, I believe who was French, an aviator there, suggested that I start playing soccer because it was the world game and it's very interesting and fun. And the second I played it, the second I scored a goal, I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Oh, that's neat.
Fourth grade.
Wow, that's neat. And I've carried it all the way through.
Carried all the way through.
Opportunity.
I was very lucky.
So like where I grew up in small town Ohio, soccer was not big, if played at all.
Okay, but they have good soccer in Ohio now. They have really good soccer.
I mean, our high schools where I grew up have soccer programs and stuff like that. So you can see the impact and the growth of the game, even, all over the place. It wasn't just certain pockets of the country, but it really was not on anyone's radar when I was young and growing up. So talk about that, because you mentioned, the worldwide game. Talk about the state of soccer globally and then in the States, and then bring it down to our own backyard here.
Well, I mean, soccer now it's never been stronger. There's no question about that. And looking at the numbers that support the game, support the World Cup, support women's soccer now in the World Cup. The U.S., it's been a slow, steady growth over the last 40, 50, 60 years. The MLS, the professional league, has gotten stronger and stronger, added additional clubs, very high attendance. The NWSL, the professional women's ranks, is getting stronger and stronger with more investment, more people watching, more people attending games. I thought my generation would be the generation that would see it just explode. I think I'm going to be at the tail end of it. I think it's going to be my children and their children that are really going to see it take it to another level in the U.S. where it'll be similar, not in the passionate, crazy way of like a Brazil, Argentina, but I think it's going to continue to grow and strengthen at the grassroots as well. As you know now, you have supporter clubs all across the U.S. that watch English Premier League. You have Arsenal Support Club, Manchester United, Liverpool.
Watch parties all over the place.
They have watch parties all over the time, watch parties all over Richmond. And and it's something that is talked about all the time. Still, do I think, the NFL and the NBA and everything, yes, of course, they're still going to be strong. They're American institutions of sport, but soccer is certainly growing in strength and certainly at the grassroots.
Neat. So, one quick side note to that, I walked in on a watch party. I think it was at Sine downtown or something like that, which reminded me of a story. When I was working for the Rams, we played a football game,
there you go.
An American football game in Berlin. But some players wanted to go see a soccer match. And on our way there, someone said, "Does anyone know the colors of the teams?" And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know that was a big deal.
Yes, it is.
No, if you're wearing the wrong colors, we could be really in a lot of trouble here. So fortunately, I think we were pretty neutral. But that was the first soccer match I ever watched. So that was 1989 or 1989. I like to phrase it to my kids. So long time ago. So
I understand.
So
was it fun? Was it a fun game?
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. It was. But I was with I was with our field goal kicker, who was a soccer player and was a barefooted field goal kicker.
Oh, wow.
Mike Lansford, if you remember that name. Oh, you don't follow the other football.
No.
That's right. So you talked about the participation. Again, now talk about Richmond Strikers, your mission. What are you guys doing here, and just kind of your overall business operation?
So right now the majority of our members in our organization play soccer, our youth soccer. We also house rugby as well as cricket. I mean, ultimately, we want to create a great environment and experience for our membership to grow, to learn, to be better people, to be better athletes. We want them to be in a safe environment. We want them ultimately to return to sport. I think that's really important. We want them to continue to play. And of course, everything that we do at the Richmond Strikers, we want it to be done first class. We want to be the best, and I'll say that. So we want outstanding facilities. We want to provide outstanding coaching environments. We want outstanding tournaments. We want to have unbelievable support and administration support the athletes and their families. So we're always continuing to strive to challenge ourselves to be more successful, which I equate success in creating a great environment for our membership. And they love the games that they're playing in. They're in great environments. They're safe. And they want to return, and they want to continue to return. Because as you know, there's nothing better than working with a player when they're young and then they return as a coach or get back in the game when they get older. And I'm now in the stage in my life where I'm now coaching and seeing kids of players I coached when I was younger.
Got it.
Which is really neat. When people, when a parent will walk up to me and say, "Hey, you coached me at Freeman High School," or "Hey, don't know if you remember, you coached me when I was with the Richmond Capitals," which I was with for a while. And it's just interesting. It's a different stage. I'm getting old.
Nah,
that's what that means.
Well, we heard what you had for breakfast and lunch. You're going to be around.
No, I'm
not
trying. Keep Jay alive. That's right.
That's right. Keep Jay alive. Keep Jay alive. So just when you look at the structure that you provide and the organization that you provide and bringing these young athletes along, obviously you guys have turned out some great athletes as well that have gone on to college careers and things like that.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that and seeing that, the kind of that success that, you've seen some of these athletes move on.
So when about 10 years ago, the Richmond Kickers and the Richmond Strikers youth organizations came together to form Richmond United, which we support. And Richmond United plays in the National League, the ECNL, the Elite Clubs National League, and they play at the national level in the league. They've been very successful as an organization, both on the girls and the boys side. We've had success as teams. We've had success as individuals. We've had some players go on from Richmond United to play in some of the major universities and go on to play in the Kickers professional team, as well as some other professional environments. The Richmond Strikers, we had an interesting last couple of years. Last year, we actually were able to place 30 players from the Richmond Strikers into colleges and or universities from our boys and our girls program. It's a huge number. It was a really, really talented class. These players are going all over the place, really, to play and continue to play as collegiate athletes. We pride ourselves on that. I think that's really neat that we're able to do that. I don't know if every year we're going to be able to do that. It was a huge class of players, but considering you have Richmond United where you have these 15 kids or so on each of these teams that go, and then you have another 30 under with the Strikers. We were very proud of our achievement with that, as well as I know the players are. Ultimately, that's one of our goals, is to have this opportunity to develop enough talent within our groups where they'll have these opportunities to play at the next level. And generally that's going to enter college, university, or even into the professional ranks.
No, it's amazing. Before we get into the Jeff Cup, which is a big part of what we want to talk about, I want to go backwards for 1 second. When you were naming all of the other sports that you do, cricket and rugby and stuff like that, I don't know if I heard you say futsal.
We do futsal. We have a big futsal. That's part of our soccer program.
Gotcha.
Well noted. Well
Gotcha.
noted. It's part.
I didn't know what futsal was when I got this job.
Futsal is a game played on a hard surface on a basketball court with no walls. It's a little bit of a weighted ball, so it will reduce the bounce. Five versus five. Yes, we have a very successful futsal program with about 250 kids. We're very happy with being able to use the
Sports and Events
Center. I call it the Northern Henrico Indoor Soccer Facility.
Some people call it the BIC.
Okay, call it the BIC. I've heard that called as well. Okay, there you go. I like that actually. I'm going to use that from now on if I'm allowed to. I'm not sure. Okay, so the BIC. We have a lot of kids. We have kids training tonight at the BIC.
Nice.
Because the weather outside is poor, as you know.
Exactly.
So yes, futsal has been successful. We use it as we incorporate it in our training environment. So they're doing this weekly, and then we really use it in the wintertime and in the summertime as an additional opportunity to play.
And again, admitting my soccer ignorance, I knew not. I didn't even know the word futsal when we opened the Sports and Event Center. And people were saying we're going to book these and the tournaments. I'm like, what is it? What is it? I had to watch it on YouTube to try and figure it out.
Fast.
It is. It is fun to watch.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's very big worldwide, and like I said, and I think that it originated from having basketball courts available all over the world, and they created a new game that they played basically called futsal, which is soccer with a small court.
Yeah, it actually really is a lot of fun to watch. So, all right, so now back to the Jeff Cup for a second. So 35 plus years of Jeff Cup soccer?
I think so. I just talked to Chris Fry, our director, and he says we're getting close to 40. So we'll lean that way.
Right. That's great.
Yes.
But I mean, 40 years of just tremendous competition, amazing economic impact. I'm just going to let you roll and tell the story of the Jeff Cup and just all the positive things that have really come out of that tournament and really owning the month of March here in the region.
March is Jefferson Cup time. We're projecting probably 1,900 teams this next spring. So it's gotten massive as a tournament and as an event. It's held over 4 weekends. The first 2 weekends in March generally are the younger girls and the younger boys. The final 2 weekends are held over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and those are showcase events for the older boys and the older girls. We have teams coming from 35, 36 different states. We've had teams that have attended the Jefferson Cup internationally. Last year we hosted Inter Milan, one of their youth teams, under 14 boys team. We've had teams from Hawaii. We've had teams from Alaska. We have teams that come from Canada each year down for the event. It's been a tremendous success. We couldn't have done it without the support of everybody here locally in the community, Henrico County, with the facilities. Right now, we're 15-20% ahead of our projections with applications right now. And so we're just still trying to figure out where we can have all these people stay, which has been great because we're having
working
hotels.
on that.
It's happening, and the hotels are growing here. It's just wonderful. We want to continue to have additional fields, which I know we're working on. It's fantastic. The expansions at Glover are really going to help. And so it's just a really, really big tournament. But obviously, Richmond is a wonderful hub. We've talked about this in the past. Very easy to get to. Basically all the travel in and out is very simple for the families. You're not dealing with traffic. Wonderful places to stay. Wonderful places to eat. I think Richmond as a community is a great host. I think people really enjoy coming here and spending time here. We have first-class facilities because that's when you travel, you want to play on great fields. So we blow everybody away with the fields and facilities we have access to. And I think the competition within the Jefferson Cup speaks for itself, and I think people are excited about coming down here, playing in great parity within their groups, and having an opportunity to play for the older kids in the showcase in front of a lot of college coaches, 300, 400, 500 college coaches in a weekend. And at the younger ages, it's an opportunity to play against teams you normally do not get to play against. A team from South Carolina gets to play a team in New York. New York gets to play a team from Tennessee, and so on and so on. But it's fun. It's a lot of work. I got to admit I don't do a lot of the work, but I mean it's a ton of work. But we're blessed and we're fully supported by the community and by everything that we do here in the area.
It is fun to watch. I've actually been out to a couple of the sites, and the vibe around the sites is really neat as well. So creating that atmosphere, for the out of town visitors when they come in is really positive. And then we see it too. You go out to a restaurant and stuff. When the Jeff Cup's in town, everyone's out there. They got their gear on and stuff. So a lot of fun. But looking ahead, what's the evolution of the Jeff Cup? What's next for you guys?
We want to keep adding fields, keep adding hotels. I think that we can get 2,000, 2,100. We can get into those kinds of numbers. We have to continue to work to make sure that we have the right kind of infrastructure as an organization to support that many amount of teams. College coaches love coming into Richmond for the opportunity to recruit and to watch and evaluate players. I think that as we move forward, we have to sort of decide what's the number we're going to be happy with and content with and we can support professionally and we can support successfully. But right now, I still think there's going to be a couple more years of growth potential in the area. And like I said, this is because of working with Henrico County and the other counties in the city of Richmond and working with everybody. I think it's been very successful for everybody. We recently did a economic impact report with RVA Views. Worked with Jody Ferguson at VCU, and the projected economic impact for 2024 was $42 million for the metro area. So it's exciting. It's exciting for everybody. And it's nice. It's nice because everybody in business, you watch the numbers a little bit and the trends. There's still a lot of interest. And there's a lot of interest as we go into the fall and working with the Capital Fall Classic. That's also growing in numbers as well.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that because it's not just Jeff Cup. I mean, that study was based on Jeff Cup, if I'm not mistaken, right? But you guys are doing other tournaments and showcases. You mentioned ECNL and the Fall Classic. So touch on those as well. So how do you make that kind of calendar?
Well, we're fortunate with facilities. And we're fortunate that we're able to work within the different leagues that we're working with. So in the fall, we've traditionally had the Capital Fall Classic, which is held in 2 weekends in November. We also now have a recreational tournament as an element of the Capital Fall Classic. So it's a rec tournament, and then I believe it goes girls and boys, I believe. Our rec tournament is going to double over here in a year with the amount of interest in that. And we created the recreational Capital Fall Classic as an end-of-season tournament for our recreational teams.
For the locals.
For the locals. Okay. But now we're getting teams that want to come in from in and around all of Virginia to play in an end-of-year tournament. Okay. And they may have heard about what we have here in Richmond. They may have other kids that have played in Richmond, and they may have heard about the competition. And so it's growing quickly. The Capital Fall Classics, the boys and the girls on the travel side, we were fortunate to be able to partner with the ECNL, and we created regional league showcases here. And so the ECNL the ECNL platform is the National League, and then they have what's called the Regional League, the RL. And so they play more in local regions. And so we have a showcase for those players here that is in conjunction with the girls tournament, in conjunction with the boys tournament. So right now it's looking like our boys regional league event and Capital Fall Classic is going to have somewhere around 450 teams. And on the girls, it looks like it's going to be about 300 plus. And so we're looking at really good numbers again here in the fall. And then obviously the spring is more about working with the Richmond Kickers. We host the Ultimate Cup. And then we have the Jefferson Cup series, which is really 5 weekends in a row. And then we're also, at the end of the spring, we have our Nike Spring Classic, which is another recreational tournament that we've created in the last 2 years that's been successful as well as an end-of-season recreational tournament. And then in the summer, we've worked with the ECNL and the ECNL Regional League to be able to host their national championships here. So they'll be here for 2 weeks in July hosting their national championships. I'm working to make Richmond the hub of national championships for the Regional League and the ECNL. So
we'll take it.
And we have one more thing we might be adding next fall that I think will be impactful
All right,
as well.
good tease there.
Yeah,
good
yeah.
Tease.
So we'll talk about that next time I'm here.
All right, let's do that.
So, but things look good right now. Busy but good.
Yeah, well, that's good. We love it. And now you touched on some facility development that's going on here in the county and actually throughout the region. What about you guys? If you can talk about it, you guys have some plans with some of your facilities as well?
Yes, I've been with the Richmond Strikers since 2012. So 12
That's
years.
what your bio says.
Okay,
anyways.
so 12 years. That's 2024, right? Okay,
Yeah.
So 12 years. So we have constantly spoken within the staff at the board level about additional changes at Striker Park. Striker Park is our hub. It's our epicenter. It's where we do most of our training with our travel teams. Which is where we base most of our business out of with our tournaments and everything else. So we've been fortunate over time to finally light all the fields there to make our training environment first class, safe for all of our players. And we're finally finished with that, which we're very proud of. And then secondly, we're going to put our offices at Striker Park. And so we're hoping to break ground soon. We're hoping that they'll be open and we'll be moving in by next summer, as well as we're going to have about 3,000 square feet of storage out there to help support the tournament business that we're working with. We're very inefficient with our storage right now, so we want to become more efficient. And then also in the back of the park, we're going to put in some additional parking, which is needed for our membership, as well as we're going to have 2 outdoor futsal courts that we're going to incorporate as part of our training. But also we want to make it a part of the community because we want to generate play and free play there so the kids can come there and play from the community and play pickup games, just like you would with basketball.
Yeah.
We don't. So we have some work to do over the next year, but we're hoping that this will all be finished up in 2025.
Oh, it's great. I mean, again, just in some of our conversations, talking about what you guys are doing out there, and like you said, that access is important too to continue to grow the game. So we look forward to those improvements happening.
And once again, we thank Henrico for all your support.
Well, appreciate that. That actually leads into the next thing because it is about collaboration and alliances and things, not just here at the local level. You mentioned Inter Milan. Talk about some of those alliances you have because they stretch nationwide as well. You work with some other clubs out west, even, right? If I'm not mistaken, Oregon, things like that. Obviously, some Nike affiliations.
We're happy that we're a big Nike club, is the way I would explain it. Obviously, there's a lot of power in the Jefferson Cup and our brand with nationally and now internationally. In the last 2 years, we've created a partnership with Inter Milan out of Milan, Italy, and it was interesting. It was a 2-year conversation with them about working with the grassroots, about player development, about impact with players. I thought when we were first discussing, like in any conversation with business, I was saying, well, this may be more what I would call like a marketing plan, but it turned out that it wasn't so, which was nice. When I met with their staff, when I met with Marco Monti, who's the director of their Inter Academy International, it really truly is about making the players better soccer players, helping them be better people, helping them be more competitive, helping them approach the game in a joyful way. And so we've created this partnership, which is called Inter Academy Strikers. We have had some coaches that have come over at different times to work with our coaches and our players some. We've worked on changing our methodology within our club, which has made a big, huge impact with them. We now, as part of our under 8s through under 12s, they wear Inter Academy Strikers kits when they train. They love them. So when we're in the back of the Striker Park, it looks like we're in our own little Milan area back there. It's really nice. So I would think for 2 years now, it's been a very successful program that we're very happy with. The coaches we worked with have been great. They all have teaching backgrounds.
That's neat.
And they were truly interested. And I get asked this, why not the older kids? Well, they were truly interested in working with the younger players because they see the greater impact over the long term. So they wanted to work with them to get the soccer right at the beginning, and then they said it's easier to tweak and change as they get older.
That's great. What a great alliance. I was fortunate to be invited to one of your dinners when you were hosting them. So that was a lot of fun. So I appreciate that. So, well, we're getting ready to wrap up today's show. So we like to have our guests share some stories of things that mean a lot to them, either memorabilia or some stories. So there we go. We can get that in there.
All right. So this hangs in my office. And so we were coming up as a staff. This happened 6-7 years ago. We were discussing as a staff key things that we believe in as a group. Right now, we have about 30 full-time people that work with the Strikers, and we work in our offices in Innsbruck. And we had different people coming up with different sayings. Something that I was taught very young by my father and my mother as well was the one thing that you can control all the time is your approach, your attitude in anything, in any situation. And so I said, well, I choose to be happy. And so am I lucky with what I get to do? Yeah, I'm incredibly lucky that I've got to work in soccer.
You work in a fun business.
I work in a fun business.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of stuff going on? Is there stress? Do weird things happen? Do you have to have tough conversations? Yes. But at the end, I'm getting to coach soccer. I'm getting to work with players. I'm getting to work in an unbelievable environment. And ultimately, I do believe you can control the way you approach things. And I think I'm a pretty happy person. Do you think I'm a pretty happy
Absolutely,
person?
Jay.
Okay, I feel like I'm a pretty happy person. And so I choose to be happy. And also, this hangs over my desk. So when staff and or others come in or there's, a call or something else, every once in a while on a Zoom, I'll have to show everybody, yes, choose to be happy here.
Calm down, yeah.
Yes. And so that was what I wanted to bring in. So Dawn Miller, who's here, she's standing here, I'm not allowed to say, but she said you need to bring something that is different about your office or yourself, and that is it.
Personal and professional meaning. What about the hat, though?
The hat, all right, yes, I went to see the governor speak about it only takes one, dealing with drug problem that we're dealing with right now.
Yes.
Okay, so I try to wear this around as well and support the governor and his wife and on their initiatives and about talking about it only takes one.
We're doing the same. We're doing the same with the Sports Center as well. We got a partnership with them.
It's a great platform, and
it is.
Say no to drugs.
It is.
I'm going to the 80s with that one. Go ahead.
I'm going to choose to be happy. I like that. I'm going to steal that. So,
okay.
All right. So for me, I started this by saying I didn't know a lot about soccer. Okay. I did share that one story that actually just popped into my head. I was like, wait a minute. I went to a game in Berlin, Germany. That was pretty amazing. But I again, don't know a lot about soccer, but I know big events. And in 1999, when I was working and living in Southern California, I went to the Women's World Cup match at the Rose Bowl with 90,000 of my closest friends.
You went to the final?
Went to the final.
With
beat China.
With Brandy
Chastain.
You
yeah.
were there.
On the penalty kicks. I was there.
You were there.
I was there. In fact,
that is huge.
In fact, I grabbed this picture off the internet, and I was sitting about. We were opposite the scoreboard here. I was sitting about right there.
So Dennis indirectly,
And I have a ticket. I
doesn't
saved
know
everything.
Indirectly, he doesn't know that he was a part of probably one of the major cultural shifts in this country as far as dealing with women's athletics.
25 years. 25 years
when
anniversary.
they won that, and Brandy did her celebration, and it went international, worldwide. Iconic photo. I think that changed women's sports in the United States. It really took everything to another level, and that was springboarded everything that we're seeing today as far as the success, not only in WSL, but WNBA and everything else. It showed this can be done at the national level. Very good team, no question.
Yeah, no, it actually was a lot of fun.
It was part of history.
I was. And really, I'll share this story. It's kind of a downer kind of story, but one of my buddies that was with us actually got arrested for scalping a ticket. So he got handcuffed and everything. Didn't even get to watch the game.
No?
Yeah, so what a bummer, man.
But I tell
like, hey, man, sorry.
Do you think, does he still tell that story all the time?
I don't know if he does or not. I'm not sure. I've kind of lost touch with him.
Okay,
maybe he'll watch this
we
podcast.
We went to prison, of course. Yeah,
why are you calling me out? I'll be, hey, man, just choose to be happy. That's all. So, no, but it was really a remarkable event to see all that. And to your point, especially what we're going through with women's sports today, there's never been a better time to be in the business of women's sports.
Right.
And certainly, as you said, man, that was the springboard. And if I'm not mistaken, still a record for the largest crowd to ever watch a women's sport.
It may be.
I mean,
it may be.
Certainly at that time it was. But what they accomplished. And I do remember one other thing, too, and I think this was during your tenure, because I was early on in my time here at the Raceway. Richmond Region Tourism invited us out to something at Strikers Park. You had a couple, like Mia Hamm came in at one point.
So they had their camp.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what was it called? I've forgotten the name. My mind has gone blank. But yes.
See, I got better connections to soccer than I even thought.
Oh my gosh, what is the name? I feel you're gonna have to cut all this out, but I've forgotten the name of their camp. Yes, Mia and Ange Kelly and Christine Lilly. They came out here and they did a soccer camp out at West Creek, as well as, and we did an event at Striker Park.
Yeah, I think I went to
Players
both of
First.
those. Yeah,
I think it was called Players First. I think it was what it's called. We'll have to look that up. You can cut all this out if you have to.
No, that was great. I do remember that. See, I have more connections to soccer than I ever
Your
thought.
memory is way better than mine.
Wow,
so that's good.
amazing.
That's amazing that you were at that game.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. So, all right, well, again, wrapping this up, I'm going to give you the last thoughts to close this out here on soccer, whatever, Strikers. What do you got?
I would say Richmond's a great town. I'm lucky that I'm able to work here. I get to work with great people. I think that we have found certainly a niche for hosting. I think sports tourism has a massive growth opportunity here in Richmond because it has all the major factors. We have unbelievable facilities. We have unbelievable people that work within the games. It's very easy to get around. We have a wonderful airport to get in and out of. We don't have any traffic. We have great food. We have great beer. We have, like I said, we have all the good things that people like to do. And as well as, I think the kids that come in here and play the various sports here, they enjoy it because they get to play in safe, professional environments.
Oh, it's great. And again, we appreciate everything that the Richmond Strikers, that you guys do for our community.
Thanks for having me here. It's fun.
So thanks for being on.
Every month. This will be good.
No, come on back. So thank you all for watching.